Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. It is. It's also the 23rd of November, and we'll be looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today in Spain, some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times too by viewers, and also we'll go into the live chat and check out what is happening there. Now, I'm having some color issues with the camera that I'm using today, so bear with me. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay, see me okay, but as I said, the colors might be a little bit off this evening, but we will persist. Now we'll get straight into the news, and bad news for the housing market here in Spain. As we can see from this article here, Spain cannot build 700,000 new homes to solve its housing crisis, experts are warning. Spain faces a shortage of more than 700,000 homes to meet the demand created by newly formed households in recent years, a situation the Bank of Spain warns could become a bottleneck for the economy. The housing deficit has multiplied sevenfold in 4 years, with half concentrated in Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Alicante and Malaga. Demand is being fueled by population growth driven by immigration, shrinking household size, urban concentration, and interest from foreign buyers. However, Spain is building barely 100,000 homes a year due to the collapse of the construction sector after the 2007 crisis, which dismantled major developers and reduced land availability. Bureaucratic delays, a lack of developable land, and a severe shortage of skilled labour make rapid expansion impossible. In 2024, fewer than 98,000 homes were completed, a fraction of the more than 6,000 homes built in 2007-2008. Industry leaders call for urgent reforms, including training, streamlined planning, and labour regularisation to avoid worsening accessibility and rising prices. So the issue that we have in Spain currently, the housing crisis, and as we can see there, the country will not be able to build that many homes. That is clear from what we can see there. Spain can't build them. They just don't have the capabilities at the moment. So the housing crisis looks like it will continue. Social housing, not sure what's going on with social housing. We were promised social housing from the government, still waiting for it because the government thinks that they'll be able to help ease the housing crisis through social housing, but not sure how long it's going to take. But as we see there, the deficit when it comes to new homes here, large, and 700,000 needed, but way off those figures. So bad news there for the people that are desperate to get into some type of housing. Second piece of news here, and Pedro Sánchez, the Prime Minister of Spain, says that he believes the Attorney General is innocent and hints at constitutional appeal. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has reacted cautiously to the Supreme Court ruling that convicted Spain's Attorney General Álvaro García Ortiz for revealing confidential information, stressing his regret over the decision while signalling that it may be challenged before the Constitutional Court or even European courts. Sánchez avoided open confrontation within the Supreme Court but made clear his disagreement, suggesting that higher judicial bodies could overturn controversial aspects of the ruling. The Prime Minister emphasised that the government respects court decisions, contrasting his stance with that of the Partido Popular, and implicitly referenced Supreme Court Judge Manuel Marchena, seen as a key figure behind the verdict. Sánchez reiterated his belief in García Ortiz's innocence, arguing that experienced journalists had testified that the Attorney General was not the source of the leak at issue. The ruling comes just days after the trial concluded and has triggered significant political tension. So the ongoing issue here with Spain's Attorney General, who was disqualified for 2 years the other day from practicing his role as Attorney General, so not good for him. But of course, Prime Minister Sánchez saying here that he will challenge possibly that decision, or his government is contemplating challenging the decision, maybe taking it to the Constitutional Court or the European Court of Justice to get it overturned. How long that would take, I've got no idea. But in the meantime, Mr. Garcia Ortiz on the sidelines, and the Spanish government looking for a new Attorney General, someone to fill those boots. And of course, this is highlighting the deficiencies in Spain's not only political system but also judicial system, because political parties don't seem to trust the judges. And it's an issue, I think, when we are supposed to have, are we not, this separation of powers. But apparently, if you listen to some people, that is not the case here in Spain. Next piece of news here, and bad news for meat lovers, because beef prices soar by 25% since the start of the year, or they have soared by 25% since the start of the year, and Christmas is fast approaching. Beef prices in Spain have risen sharply throughout the year, with butchers reporting average increases of around 25% and expecting further rises as Christmas approaches. Cuts such as roasting beef now sell for around $14.95 per kilo, with chops at €18.50 and steaks between 14 and 18 euros. The trend is being seen in both cities and rural areas, where prices are only slightly lower due to fewer intermediaries. Butchers point to several causes, including higher export demand and supply pressures. As a result, many consumers are shifting to cheaper alternatives such as chicken or turkey, which have not experienced similar price hikes. With seasonal demand expected to push prices even higher in December, shoppers face the choice of spending more, reducing consumption, or seeking more affordable options. So as I said, bad news for beef lovers here in Spain. Prices soaring since the beginning of the year, up 25%. And if you like a steak, you will have noticed the price hikes at supermarkets and also in restaurants, where it's difficult to get a decent cut of meat for a decent price nowadays. And as Christmas fast approaches, as we can see there, it could be an issue going forward. So not only have we got problems with other things going up, high inflation, but beef through the roof, 25%. No problem if you're a vegan, it won't affect you, but other people that do like the odd steak every now and again, the odd cut of beef, having to pay more. Let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, starting with this one here. From Zero or Zero, is it worth doing a live stream for 32 likes? No, it is not, in my opinion, but I do appreciate the uploaded video afterwards and the wit therein. Thanks, Seto, for the comment there. Yes, I mentioned this the other day with the amount of likes and the amount of people that are watching these live streams. I don't know whether I'm going to continue for much longer with live streams. I'm going to be honest about that. Not really worth it, I don't think. Maybe for the after views and things like that, people that catch up later, but having to go live every or 3 times a week for such little impact, I don't know whether it's worth it, to be honest. So we might be coming to the end of a cycle as far as this channel is concerned, and live streams, time will tell. One here from Glenn: at least Spain has the UCO to investigate for corruption. I cannot see the UK has such an investigative body to control our authorities. Enlighten me if we have, because they don't seem to be doing much to remove anyone. Thanks, Glenn, for the comment. Yes, the UCO here in Spain, or the UCO as it is called, the investigative branch of the Civil Guard that mainly follow the corruption cases, the illegal drug activity in the country as well. If there's a murder around the place as well, they will also take care of those cases, hunt down the criminals that are involved in this. They are a very, how would you say, an elite branch of the Civil Guard, very well trained people with their investigative skills, and they are on the trail of all of the criminal activity that goes on in this country. Controlled by judges. The judges and the UCO work hand in hand. The judges have the cases on their desks. They give them to the Civil Guard UCO unit to investigate, and often they come back with the results that the judges are looking for, and that is the case at the moment. They have also been discredited in recent times by the government, of course, because they are going after the current government at the moment, or certain members of the political party that rules the government, or former members now, I should say, because they have been kicked out. But when all of the illegal activity was going on, they were right up there at the top of the tree, allegedly in that political party, and the UCO, the Civil Guard, going after them, and hence that discreditation. Thanks for the comment. Another one here from Larry. The attraction in Spain is sunshine, beaches, food, wine, historical sites, natural beauty, and less than 3 hours by plane from most of Northern Europe. Thanks, Larry, for the comment. Yes, the attraction of Spain. We saw it the other day. Somebody asked the question, why is Spain so attractive? Why do people continually come back to Spain or visit Spain on a yearly basis or every now and again to get those 90 million plus figures that we have already this year, I think, heading towards records as far as international visitors are concerned. And I think the person the other day, English, I think, or British at least, with the Union Jack, questioned, why is Spain so popular? That person couldn't work it out. But Larry there putting on the table that sunshine, beaches, food, wine, historical sites, natural beauty, and close to other European destinations is the reason. Thanks, Larry, for that. Another one here from Frank. Authoritarianism only has a positive view for people who have not experienced it. Yes, Frank, thank you very much for the comment. We also saw this the other day, that here in Spain, around 21 or 22% of young people surveyed in different polls are in favour of a more authoritarian type government like Spain had back in the 1940s, 50s, 60s and half of the 1970s, when it was very easy to be a citizen here because everything you were told what to do, and it was fairly clear that if you didn't adhere to the rules, you knew what was going to happen to you. So a lot of people nostalgic for those times, around 21, 22% of young people apparently. And surprising, but as Frank points out here, positive view for people that have not experienced it. And I'm sure that if you asked people living in an authoritarian regime at the moment whether they would maybe like a change, I'm sure some would say yes. Maybe some wouldn't, but I'm sure some would say yes. Thanks, Frank, for the comment. Another one here from JAP. Been to Spain last month here from South Africa. If I had enough funds, I would relocate immediately. Alicante, I think that is there. Thanks, JAP. Yes, a lot of people have that same idea when they visit Spain, see that Mediterranean lifestyle. They fall in love with it and think about relocating. That is why Spain is such a popular country with foreign residents who are looking for a place to retire in the sun from other European countries, of course. Thank you very much for that comment. And maybe one day, if you do get the funds, you will be able to retire in, what was it? Alicante. Thank you very much for the comment there. And the final one here from Hello Goodbye. Do you know if Torrevieja also has this concept of a single plate meal for €10? Because I've looked around and not found it so far. Thank you very much for the comment. Hello Goodbye. To be honest, I have no idea if Torrevieja has something similar. I know that a lot of restaurants give you the choice nowadays that you don't have to order the full menu of the day. You can order a half if you like, choosing either a first course or a second course. Plus you still get your drink, you get your dessert, you get your bread for obviously for a cheaper price. If a menu's 15, maybe you pay 10 for that or something like that. But as far as the single plate option is concerned, don't know. I've only seen it in a few places here, and the one that I went to the other day, of course, now has this single plate issue because of the hassle of having to prepare a four-course 4 first course meal every day and 4 second courses as well, plus different dessert choices, decided it wasn't worth his time, did the owner of that bar, and changed it to the single plate, or the plato único as it's called here. So if anyone's in Torrevieja and they know, and if you know of a place that does do the single plate option or the half menu, let us know in the comment section. Thank you very much for that. Now we're going to go into the live chat, check out what has been bubbling away there in just a moment. Firstly, we'll get the background picture out of the way, the one that has been on the screen here. This was sent in by Noel, and it's another picture from his balcony overlooking the Mediterranean Sea in El Campello in Alicante, and a sunrise, I think, was said here by Noel, sent in by Noel, sunrise. So a lovely shot there. Not many people out and about yet. I don't know what time people would start to get up in that part of Spain, but not many people out and about, as we can see there, looking at the sunrise. So thank you very much, Noel, for sending the picture through. And if you've got a similar picture you would like to see on the backdrop, the email is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your pictures through to that email address, and we'll get them on the backdrop here, should they meet the characteristics, of course. And that is that it needs to be that landscape style photo that can take up the whole of the backdrop here, as opposed to the 16:9 Instagram type picture that are very common nowadays, when people just hold their phones up like that and bang, take the photos. No good for the backdrop. Maybe good for Instagram, but not for here. But Noel has taken the picture correctly. Thank you very much for that, Noel. Also, the like icon is on the screen if you haven't hit it yet. 46 likes currently. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today. Maybe 50, maybe 60. We will see. We will see. Also, for people that have supported the channel in recent times, thank you very much for that support, whether it's through the Super Thanks option on YouTube, the Super Chat here, people that have bought me a coffee, and also the longer-term supporters on Patreon. Thank you very much for that support. It's greatly appreciated. And also the channel members of this YouTube channel, you can join from 99 cents a month. We're starting to get a big membership community going. I think we're around 90 people now. So if you would like to support the channel, that's a way to do it. Also, the membership option on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for even considering it. And if you want to help the channel, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, won't cost you a cent, and it will also help keep the channel ticking over. Ticking over is the word. Thank you very much for considering that also. Now, we'll go into the chat, see what's bubbling away there. Let me scroll up to the top. One here from Barbara, valued member, of course, of the channel. Coming in from Catral, 21 degrees there, with a minimum of 11 degrees later. Thank you very much, Barbara, for that. Hope you're getting better. Been a bit, well, had an ailment, I think, in recent times. Bursitis, I think, is it, or something like that. Thanks for that. One here from Steve, coming in from chilly North London. Just seen the news there, planning on opening a Wetherspoon pub in Alicante Airport. What's next? The Gregs, says Steve. Not sure about the weather. I don't even know if there's a Wetherspoons in here here in Spain at all. Obviously in Madrid we're not going to get any Wetherspoons, the cheap pubs that are all over the UK. And for Alicante Airport, probably there's a market for it. That's why they're studying putting one there, and other places where people familiar with the Wetherspoons brand would frequent. Thank you very much, Stephen, for that. Alan's in the chat also, coming in from a sunny El Puerto. The music was everywhere here this weekend. Had a really great flamenco band playing in one of the bars in my building last night. Ole, says Uncle Al. Not sure what's happening with the names today. Normally it says Tio Al. Today it says Alan. So maybe there's a problem here with the program. Could there be a problem with the program? I don't know. Also, could be. Amanda's in the chat as well. Good to see you, Amanda. Joe, hit the like button today. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Who else we got going on here? Sunny's in the chat as well. Not so cold in Basingstoke today. Going to Devon on Tuesday. Will be interesting to see what the temperature's like there. Tessie Can saying it's all a bad joke. Not sure what that's referring to, but thanks. Hike Ranger coming in from Los Cristianos, Tenerife, where there goes the dream of a second home in Spain. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, I don't think, if not a lot of being built. Some people say that construction's booming where they are, but in the areas where homes are needed, I don't think that is the case. No, I don't think so. Billy's in the chat too. Call social welfare and get rid of the unions, and there'll be no problem building houses. Thanks for that, Billy. Not sure if that's the issue, but I think bureaucratic problems are more the like. Joe's saying, remember that law Spain passed stating it would be illegal to tie up your dog outside a business whilst the owner was conducting business? Not happening here. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, one thing is that there's a law. Another thing that is that the law officers enforce the law. So even though there could be a law, you'll see dogs still being tied up outside pharmacies and bars and things like that while the owners are doing their thing, especially if they're not allowed to take the dog into that particular premise. Flutter Girl coming in from a grey Toronto. Cool there as well. Beef is also getting expensive in Canada. Yeah, I imagine it's a worldwide thing. I imagine that's the case. What else we got going on here? Gold Geologist saying, I often do not catch the live stream as of late, but I do watch later as often as possible. Thanks for that. Yeah, I see the numbers here. I know a lot of people do seem to watch the live streams afterwards, but I made that comment the other day, and I am contemplating bringing the lives, at least, how often do I do it now? 3 times a week, maybe cutting it down a bit. I don't know. I'm still trying to think on what to do. Joe saying, have you heard of those 5 blue zones dotted around the earth? Those zones where humans live the best and everywhere. Their diet consists of only 7% red meat. Yes, Joe, I haven't heard of those areas, but I imagine that if you do cut back on your red meat intake, you might be healthier. That's it. Every now and again, I don't think there's an issue, but with the rising prices. Alan saying also, I will be in the Pacific in March, New Zealand, Australia and Bali. Alan does get around, I will say. Does get around. Manny saying, I live in Miami Beach. I'm retiring to Bilbao. Enough sun and heat. So wants a cooler place to retire to. Joe saying, I would say kids today desire an authoritative regime because they didn't get it from their parents. Don't know, Joe. Could be another reason. Maybe. Ray's coming in from Bogota. Love the live stream. Sadly, work commitments and time difference make it difficult to tune in midweek. Always catch up later. Thanks for that, Ray. What else? Kev's in the chat here too, saying, I could understand the young in the UK leaning to a strict government given the violent and expensive crimes that have increased out of control. But in Spain, thanks, Kev, for that. Manny saying 100,000 subscribers. Just noticed it. Congratulations. Thanks, Manny, for that. Yep, it's a milestone that I passed earlier in the month, I think. Was it? I think that was the case. John's in the chat too, watching the great Gary Newman live on stage. So we'll catch up later. Thanks, John. Enjoy the singer there, Gary Newman. Open a Subway sandwich shop, says Alan. Not sure what that's related to. Maybe a business opportunity. The Jazz Shed is late on the parade again, but watching you about 20 minutes behind. Good evening to everyone. Thanks for that. Good to see you. Very cold and rainy in Palencia, up there in the north of Spain, just in the Castilla y León autonomous community. I think Palencia, again, one of the cooler parts of the country. Billy's saying, don't give up on the live stream. Well, every now and again, these thoughts cross my mind, Billy. Whether I actually do give up or not will be another thing to decide. But it's on the cards, I will say. It's on the cards. Not sure what I'll do, but we'll see. Manny's saying, save for me on the live streams. Sundays would be awesome. Thanks for that. And many thanks, Stu. Keep warm and well. Everyone have a good week. Thanks, Kev. On that note, I'm going to wrap it up as well. It's been a pleasure. Back again on Tuesday, so we will be having live streams this week. I'm starting to get a little bit sick, so I don't know whether I'll be in a perfect condition on Tuesday. Time will tell, but hopefully I am. And as I said, live stream again on Tuesday, Thursday, and then on Sunday we'll be back again. So hope to see you then. Until then, hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios, and goodbye.